quite a while before this movie was made. I made this picture, Revenge of the Purple Mountains. I used to draw pictures from fashion magazines because before, like Borders or like other bookstores like that, there weren't a lot of art mags, so I'd draw stuff from fashion mags. So it was somewhere between February 14th, 2002 and March 4th, 2002. Anyway, I thought this woman looked a lot like this woman. Minus the upskirt effect, you know, sorry for that. And the poem I'd written just before that. Once upon a rock I sat, watched the flock's flight challenged by the occasional winds, long ribbons of flight, contracted to cauliflower heads. Then, promenading breezes, scribbled off to other curled and long directions. I was the slight with vision, no vision. They a reach without limbs. Not here, my words are a hoax and I'm the leftover laugh of a bad joke. I poke at the deep bottom of a scar that won't stop bleeding. I press hard against hope, turn to small pebbles, push the soft warm walls of indifference which refuse to swallow. My hope comes in 1,000 colors, standard, now sublime, now proud. On the tip of a clit, hero colors breaching shallow heights to proclaim hope's accomplice, a bouquet of skin and nerves, rubbed taut, tough, and callous brown. My words are the scourge of a crybaby canon carol, and I am the king of fools, the godfather of grunge. Back when grunge was a thing. And then this, just after, from The Color of Summer by Ronaldo Arenas, a quote I took from a friend who was reading the book. I will paint plants with their roots upside down, seeking nutrients in the sky. I will paint leaves that move about the canvas and ask impossible questions when one looks at them. I will paint a heap of bones, me rotting in a field overrun with weeds. I will paint the suffering face of the moon, budding leaves, all these fetuses that could not manage to be born because there's no room in this place of mine for another canvas. Not to mention the bed and the 4 chairs in which I politely seat those visitors who come to get information out of me and on whose visits I have to file my own reports. I'll paint Thomas Tito, the Goya girl, denouncing herself to the computers because he doesn't have anybody else to denounce. I will paint the blazing rock-strewn wastes and stinking puddles where young people gather, dreaming that they're at the beach. I'll paint demons that flee in terror and a huge spotlight manned by other terrified demons shining on them. I don't need to comment on the fact that, you know, I had a large deal of teenage angst. But, you know, now I have a large deal of middle-aged angst. With, well, a lot of perspective from my perspective. More to come.
Gonna be all right. What's that? Probably an alligator. Alligator law. This is where I live. This is what we call home. Houseboat, very spacious, very comfortable. This is it. Come on in. Roomy. 25 foot wide, 35 feet long. 2, 4, 6, 8 people in bunk space. Another one on the couch, that's 9. Put 2 on the floor, that's 11. Or actually as many as you want on the floor and as many as you want outside. But we can pretty much sleep 9, 10 people comfortable in here. A houseboat without a deck on the train. It's almost like pancakes without no syrup. You got to have it, you know. I like my deck. Bathroom, television, VCR, microwave, air conditioning, generator, which means self-contained. And that's basically what people look for. Something where they can go out and it's self-contained. It has everything, the essentials that you need. I don't have no lawnmower. It's the only thing I don't have. Of course, I ain't got much grass to cut, so. But I have everything I need here, I believe. Cabin fever? No. Give me bumping song. No. No, there's too many things to do, man. Maybe we should. Looks good to me. Look out the front door. We came here. You better see me out the front door. You know? And if you don't like the scenery, you can always pull out the rope and change.
Sir, did not.
So when I first moved out here, this was a foreclosure, and people had
so easily. Long before the Hittites invaded. We stay here for the right reasons. To protect the creation of your pride.
This rock, if you can see it, is my marker rock. It's the one that...
There's alligators all.
Yeah, I see a picture of it.
There's alligators all over here. You're in alligator country, buddy. Hear the noise they're making, that's because they're upset. In other words, he's already raising hell because they know we're here, you know? Hush noise. You calm down just a second. He's about 6 feet long, 6 years old. Not bad. Make a good belt. Good purse. All right, boy. Mine's gonna bother you. Take care of you. Oh, yeah, I've been bit by him. I've got my heel pulled off. I've had this heel. You can see this heel, it was all bit and pulled off. I stayed 7 days in the hospital, 2 surgeries to get sewed it back on.
How'd that happen?
I was trying to tape the mouth shut on the big one, and my foot slipped on him. I couldn't hold him with my hands, so I tried to hold him with my foot and my hands, and my foot slipped off, and he caught me. And I just fell back and started howling. And on this other foot, you can see there's teeth marks across the top of this one. There's teeth marks coming across the top of this foot here. That was for Bassmasters. When we did work with Bassmasters, I was trying to pull one in the boat. The same thing happened when I pulled him in the boat. I went to move out of the way, and somebody was right there trying to help me. And he didn't get out of the way. In other words, and I got caught between him and the alligator. The alligator landed on top of my foot and bit me a second time. The more you fool these things, the more things you learn. But if you're going to fool with them, accidents are going to happen. You're going to get bit. It's almost like any other profession you do. Electrician, you're going to get shocked in your coffee, you're going to bang your finger. If you're a rodeo bull rider, you're going to fall off. So if you fool with alligators, you're going to get bit. Anybody tells you they fool with alligators and they ain't been bit, they've been around them, but they don't fool with them. Trust me. There we go.
What do you think they think of all these little heads here?
Oh, about all these little heads here? They're thinking that might be them one day. I don't think they really think about it, to be honest with you. I don't think they know that much. If they did, they'd try to figure a way to get out of here. Well, I figure they'd do. They wouldn't hang around. I wouldn't hang around. These are social souvenirs in New Orleans. In other words, we'll take these here and we'll just cure them. We dip them in a 4-part solution of different types of things that we can soak them in, formaldehyde, water, a couple other different things that, you know, it's like a secret family recipe. And then we just kind of cure them. And then once we pull them out, we put the glass eyes in them and we polish urethane. This is my dad, Papa Gator. And him and I basically just hang out here and work and do this. That's what I do for my turf, man. We don't have nobody working here. Whatever we do, we get done, you know. But you'd be surprised how much you will do in a day if you just sit and do it. Just sit here and just build around. And I might do 100 a day. You call it stroke. A year or so ago. And the doctor said he needed therapy. That's what he does for therapy. Kind of works in that. He takes him, he hangs him on a fence. They wanted him to get up and reach. So he says, now he gets up and he hangs the alligator heads on the fence. And then he has a beagle dog and goes out and walks and they tell him to walk, you know. So now he's got a beagle dog, he lets the beagle dog run the rabbits, and he walks behind the beagle dog. So he hunts and does alligator heads for therapy.
Yeah, and I see a picture in my mind and I just work on it till it, you know, fulfills that picture.
Come to town, tell me which size they want to work with, and we just come back in, scoop them up. When we did Louisiana Commission of Tourism, a lady said, well, Bill, I want an alligator to walk across the road by the alligator crossing sign. And the alligator crossing sign is actually in Sabine Refuge, which is almost at the Texas line. And they didn't want to bring the sign here to the alligator. They had to bring the alligator to where the sign was, because that's where the sign was, and that was Louisiana, to make it look natural. And the lady said, I want the biggest one you got. I said, no, I don't think you want the biggest one I got. She said, I want the biggest one you got. I said, okay. I loaded up the biggest one I had, put him in the truck, brought him on down there. Put him on the road, and he just wouldn't cross the road. Actually, it's the biggest road, the whole length of the road. It's by the time he gets up, he's already, you know. So, because I've been doing this so long, I knew to bring about a 7-footer, you know, 6 foot, 7-footer, smaller one. And I brought one of them. And we put him by the road. Boy, he looked just good. So you see Louisiana Commission of Tourism commercial with him walking across the road. And the sign in the background, that's our alligator. That's some work that I've done. Oh! There's another one now. Yeah, when they're ready for them, we just...
For your free Louisiana tour guide, call the number on your screen. Yes. Louisiana, come as you are. Go.
Back and forth, run around. Run around, back and forth, back and forth. Back and forth, side to side, side to side, back and forth, run around, side to side, back and forth. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time.
Tell the men to start loading
But I'm going to try.
We're going home.
I'm going to try.
I give man one is a proud man. But he knows when he's made a mistake.
The man says you
So
make some
before I
apologies.
get to this,
What are you doing enthralled in
this might not be a horrible place to
The
start.
world seems simple to you, my friend, but when you're a king, very few choices are simple.
little book.
Ithaca cannot afford an enemy like Agamemnon. Are we supposed to fear him? We don't fear anyone. That's
This in this book
fear is useful.
was just before
We need you back.
9/11, or just after 9/11. I have another book of where I wrote stuff on 9/11.
Greece will be Greece long after I'm dead.
This was
I'm not
2 days
talking about
after.
the land.
On the night of
The
9/11,
land need you.
I pretty well lost my license from drunk driving at that point. And
You were born for this war.
I have a video of it, I think, somewhere, of where I was pulled over. Anyway,
Women have a way of complicating things.
my first thought when it happened,
All the kings of Greece are
when I first heard of it, it was from my boss telling me because his wife called him and told him that a plane crashed into a building. Of course, this was before it happened. So I was just thinking it was like a small thing, some wacko fucking nut, like, trying to take it out on the man. And I was like, ho 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 ho. And then, from where I was working at a paint store, and there was a Sears next door, so I went next door to the Sears, and watched the TVs, and I was like, crying and all that kind of thing. Or, you know, it's pretty emotional. You knew shit was going down. And, but anyway, my first impetus when I heard that the airports were being shut down was I wanted to go out into, quote-unquote, the wilderness. I wanted to go to a place where I could look in the sky and not see any planes, so that I could look at the stars. And I could look at the sky without any movement in the sky, so that I might imagine myself being long ago. That I might look at the sky and see what my ancestors saw, what our ancestors saw. That was my first impulse and my first impression, and it was very important to me. As it turned out, my roommate at the time drove me, and, you know, God bless her and everything, but and I can't say anything about her that I can't say about myself. But she was a big old loudmouth, and I just wanted to get out kind of into the woods, and we drove into a place that I thought would be secluded and quiet, where I could look into the sky and kind of just look upon the environment and imagine myself in a different time. It didn't really work, but it was a good intention. And that night, yeah, the stuff I have in a different notebook of that particular night was kind of like a mutual poem that we wrote. She was an English major, I was an art major at the time, or I had just dropped out of school for the third time as an art major. She was still an English major, and sometimes we'd kind of jam out a little bit in a kind of poetry. That was nice, even though we were both a bit psycho. But anyway, so this painting, which I'd worked on in a few different places, which was the painting that I referenced before that I've yet to post, if I can find it. Yeah, this one. This one, which is this one in a different place. There, I guess you can actually see. Some of these images have come up. This was a different painting which I was going to incorporate. But anyway, that's the whole deal about this notebook, is that this is my Hegel's Bad Infinity notebook of that painting. As I was making it, all of this is me planning that notebook. or planning that painting. Not all of it, but a lot of it. But as we get really far out, like here I am on figure 44 of planning out that painting. Figure 45. Which, back on 9/13/01, was Heavy Metal, Reefer Madness, and the Quest for a Better Tomorrow. Perhaps the best title I've ever come up with. HRQBT. So all kind of Nietzschean stuff. Baudrillard, I was big into him back then. Simulacrum, simulation. But that was what I was steeped in, which is interesting that Simulacrum and Simulation had that huge essay on the Gulf War and the Wag the Dog deal. And that's what I was really into when 9/11 happened. But yeah, so I have all these planned out images and pictures of what I was going to do, and when I realized, I mean, I have all these figures, but I think at the time I narrowed it down to like, I don't know, somewhere under 20 panels. And then I thought, man, I don't have enough space to do these panels like the one panel that I'd shown. I mean, this took up a whole wall, and this was essentially like 1 3/4 panels. And it took up like a, 10-foot wall, 12-foot wall, 14-foot wall, however big it was. And I thought, I would never, 26 panels, that was going to be like, I don't know, at some point I figured it was just, 100 feet, 50 feet, 200 feet, like how big was it going to be? So that's when I got into it was a while after, but that's when I decided to make this guy. But that's when I discovered Hegel's good infinity, so to speak. I bought this canvas because I said to myself, I am not going to build outside of this canvas. I am going to keep everything inside of this canvas. And then what did I do? I discovered minutia. And then what did I do? I built off the surface like a frieze. It's like you can't get away from complexity. If richness, saturation, or as Lyndon LaRouche says, increased as time goes on, the universe, the cosmos, experiences or explores, performs, expresses increased states of energy flux density. So there you go. But at least, you couldn't get away from infinity, but I guess at least minutia is a more efficient form of infinity. But what about the other one? Not to mention now I envision myself dreaming about building this picture out. It's a metaphor. In a lot of ways, it doesn't matter if this disappears tomorrow. I've yet to bring myself to destroying it myself. But cataclysm may do it for me, or just, eventually I'll perish, and what is my life in the time of time? That's a significant question for which there is not a definitive answer, nor for any of us. But anyway, this was a different painting I made called From Ashes. So yeah, that's pretty well that. And this is all the rest of this from that whole time period. So then the question is, how is communication possible? 1/20/2001. I made a video of that quote, I think on about 12/20/2012, 12/19. I don't know, there's some interesting math there. Speaking of interesting math, oh, let's see. I just gotta do this real quick. I think those are I Ching symbols, not irrelevant. Yes. Infinitesimal interdisc spin. Consider infinitesimal interdisc backspin seemingly slip. I'll get to that some other day. So, tiger stripes. Tiger blood? Tiger stripes. Zebra stripes, airfoils. Heat airfoils, negative temperatures. Negative temperatures, mosh pits. Mosh pits counterclockwise, not all. Does that have to do with necessary state of the cosmos, or with autosuggestion of lead singers in their arm movement? This is not an irrelevant question. It has everything to do with existence.
No, my lord. There was a mistake. I ordered the myrmidons to stand down. You led them into combat. I didn't lead them, my lord. We thought you did. You wore your armor, your shield, your greaves, your helmet. You even moved like you. Where is it? Where? Hector cut his throat.
Beetle.
Do you remember how to get here?
Yes.
The next time you come here, follow the tunnel. Go to town so you can't get lost. Just keep walking. When you get to the end, you'll be